Let me make this crystal clear one more time. This whole beef is basically between Grand Wizard, also known as Academics TV, and Charlamagne. Now, zooming out, you could even frame it as Rock Nation possibly being involved on one side versus Academics himself. But right now, the spotlight is strictly on this heated back and forth between Academics TV, aka Grand Wizard, aka George W., and Charlamagne. If you watched the previous video, you already know Charlamagne doubled down hard against George Wynn, aka Grand Wizard of Academics TV. Charlamagne didn't just respond, he escalated, dropping text messages, audio clips, photos, and even naming people connected to Academics TV. And he basically made it clear, if you're going to start a war to try and get him canceled from Netflix, then fine, he'll go all in too. So last night, on stream, Academics responded again to everything going on. And let's be real, sometimes you have to recognize when you're outmatched and outgunned. As a leader in any situation, you've got to know when to pull back and reset the battlefield. For the first time, we actually saw Academics indirectly call out Academics TV, aka Grand Wizard, for moving reckless. After Charlamagne exposed what looked like panic messages, where Grand Wizard was allegedly pleading with someone connected to him not to leak or post his pictures online, Academics pointed out that this wasn't a smart move at all. And here's exactly what he broke down. What makes this even more interesting is that Charlamagne then starts reading private messages or some form of communication, and this is where things start getting really messy. Apparently, Grand Wizard, while talking to either Andrew Schultz or Alex Media, made a very specific request. He was basically saying, look, I've been trying to live low-key as a regular citizen. Please don't blast information about me everywhere. And in his view, he wasn't talking about anything illegal or federal related. He was just concerned about exposure. He even suggested that posting images of him outside his home could put him in real-world danger. And that's the part that really changes the tone of this whole situation. Now, honestly, and I've got to say this, that feels like a major misstep in how it was handled. Grand Wizard is clearly cool with Schultz and Alex Media, and one of those conversations ended up making its way back to Charlamagne. And Charlamagne is doing exactly what you'd expect in this kind of situation. Still, I think it was a bit careless on Grand Wizard's part. Did he really think he could confide in people like Schultz or Alex Media and it wouldn't circle back? That part doesn't add up. Now here's where it gets even more intense. Academics also admits again that he was the one who basically gave Grand Wizard the green light to go at Charlamagne on the Academics TV platform. According to him, once Charlamagne had information about people allegedly showing up near his home in Australia, the rules of engagement were off the table. In his words, it became a situation where Grand Wizard could respond however he wanted when it came to image and retaliation. And here's what he said. And honestly, this is the part that hits differently. He admits it doesn't sit right with him when Academics TV is out here attacking Charlamagne, especially when legal threats or case mentions get involved. He even says he doesn't like the direction it's going, but feels stuck in the middle. Because from his side, the people around him are saying they're being harassed or targeted by people connected to Charlamagne, and he feels like he can't fully control the situation anymore. So at that point, he basically gave the approval, take the gloves off, do what you have to do, don't hold back on posting anything related to Charlamagne. Normally, he says, Charlamagne wouldn't be touched on his platform at all. In fact, he even compares it to protecting friends like Cardi B, saying there are certain people he normally wouldn't allow any slander against on his page. Okay, and for them, it honestly looked like a solid post. Like, there wasn't even any real malicious intent behind it. It was just me reacting, like, nah, that's Cardi. And I'll be real with you, I'm slightly biased when it comes to Cardi. I'm not even hiding that. And yeah, when certain topics about Charlamagne come up, I'm like, nah, let's not even touch that angle. Why? I'll tell you straight. Because after seeing how far things have escalated, bro, I had to be honest with myself. All of this media space, people making millions, but at the same time, I can't sit there and tell someone how to move when there are jokes being made about people showing up at their house. I don't play that pull up to the house energy at all. I've never played with that line. I'd even hold deep resentment toward Rory and Mal over situations like that. So when I'm being told I can't allow certain posts about 59 different accusations against you, I have to step back respectfully, because at the end of the day, it puts me in a position where people will judge me the same way they judge him, like, bro, you're part of the problem. And then you've got people literally outside my house taking pictures and sending them over, and I'm expected to just ignore that? So yeah, I said it publicly. Whatever's going on, it's still Academics TV. I rock with it. Those are my people. But I also made it clear where I stand. I don't want it to go that far, but I'm still aligned with my team. Now, personally, this is where I think the real mistake happened. Grand Wizard isn't really a traditional media personality or public figure, so giving him the green light to go directly at Charlamagne turned this into a straight one-on-one war. And when it becomes that, you can't stay faceless behind a brand like Academics TV anymore. If you know Charlamagne, you already know he's never been afraid of beef or public wars. Grand Wizard probably thought dropping a few old allegations about Charlamagne would make him back off and shut it down. But now that Charlamagne is doubling down instead of folding, things are clearly escalating in the opposite direction. Grand Wizard is realizing this isn't the same type of situation he's used to controlling. He's built a reputation going at artists like Drake, Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Lil Baby, Rick Ross, but media personalities operate differently. They don't just absorb hits, they respond and they dig into you. I just don't get why someone would be so loud about not wanting their image exposed while constantly putting other people's lives under a microscope. You say the wildest things about others, but the difference is simple. You care about what's said about you, George, even if you act like you don't. So why be so defensive about your own exposure? And now, finally, Academics steps in again, basically trying to call for peace with Charlamagne and end this whole situation with Grand Wizard. Charlamagne, this is my direct plea. This beef with Grand Wizard chat has to stop. I'm even putting myself in a mediator role here, like Minister Louis Farrakhan trying to bring calm to the situation. This is the third straight podcast where your name and Grand Wizard keep coming up, directly or indirectly. Let's just get on a call, sort this out, and find some common ground. Because honestly, the real bigger conflict here might not even be Charlamagne. It could be Rock Nation in the background. And while people think Charlamagne might be tied into that system, I don't think this beef helps anything. I don't want Grand Wizard or anyone in that chat attacking you anymore. We respect you. You're a legend. Let's get on a call and figure out where this all went wrong. Because if you look at Academics TV's bigger mission, it was never just about hating Charlamagne. It's about exposing what's real in hip-hop media. And in that bigger picture, this war with Charlamagne just doesn't move the goal forward. So Grant, I'm not even going to sit here and ask anymore. I'm just going to get him on a phone call directly, and I'll be there too. You can have whoever you want on your side, but the setup will be simple. Me, you, Grand, and anyone you feel comfortable bringing in. Because honestly, this conversation has to happen at this point. Let's be real. This is now the third or fourth episode in a row where Grand has been mentioned repeatedly. And whatever he's doing right now, it's clearly getting attention. Because at this point, Brilliant Idiots is starting to feel like it's centered around responding to Grand's whole situation. I don't have any personal beef with you, but I am genuinely concerned about the people around me. And I don't like hearing stories about harassment or pressure being put on anyone, so I'm extending the olive branch here. I already told Charlamagne on the phone that I think we should get you on a call, but I didn't really get a clear response back then. Now I'm hearing Alex Media feels the same way, that a direct call between Grand Wizard and Charlamagne might be the only way to actually cool this situation down. And let's keep it 100. When Charlamagne was talking to me, I told him straight up how extreme Rock Nation can be, and he even said he was going to call them directly to verify things about me. So Charlamagne, if you're willing to do that, then at least be open to having a real conversation with these guys too. I need Charlamagne and Grand Wizard in the same space. Charlamagne is someone I've looked up to for a long time. I accept he's never been a Drake supporter like that. But at the same time, I'm asking, please just stop posting about him for now, because he's at a point in his career where everything is under a microscope. A lot of what I've built, I've modeled off his approach, so I'm just asking for some restraint. No more posts that could be interpreted in a damaging or misleading way. And I'd also look Charlamagne in the eye and ask him directly, can you truly separate yourself from anything that might be encouraging this situation to spill into real-life pressure on Grand? Because nobody should be getting doxxed, nobody should have people outside their house, and nobody should feel unsafe over online commentary. This isn't about him being obsessed with you. It started off simple, just industry talk, like you don't like Drake or you're a hater, and now somehow it's drifting into something way bigger and more political. And that's the part that really doesn't make sense anymore. Now, credit where it's due, Akademiks is at least trying to de-escalate this situation between Charlamagne and Grand, but at the same time, some internal accountability has to happen too. That doesn't mean firing Grand or cutting ties, but if the concern is really about people being harassed, then there has to be a serious conversation about how content is being pushed on the platform. Because this whole thing started from posts and narratives that people are calling propaganda. It's one thing to support Drake and post about him positively. That's fine. But when you start pushing exaggerated or misleading claims about his so-called opposition, you have to expect backlash. And we're already seeing examples of that content, like posts claiming Rick Ross hasn't flown his private jet in weeks, or speculation about fake watches being called out by watch experts. That's the kind of content being circulated under Akademiks TV that people are now pointing to as fueling the fire. So the real question becomes this: if you don't want your identity exposed or people showing up at your door, then why operate in a way that pushes other people into that same pressure? Because eventually it stops being one-sided. And that's where things can flip fast, especially if artists like Rick Ross decide they've had enough and start pushing back in ways that make life very uncomfortable for Grandwizard, aka Akademiks TV.